Welcome back. Another edition of the Tom Talks Baseball podcast. We are live on a Saturday afternoon. Hopefully your day's going well. A beautiful day in Amarillo, Texas. Why the heck are we inside? This is my fault. Actually it's the internet's fault because we tried to do this on Thursday, Shawn, and the internet just wasn't having any of it, and we were struggling to talk with one another. But we're doing it today because you guys, the Sod Poodles, start on Tuesday. We're excited to get baseball back, the Double-A Central. But Shawn Roof, manager of the Sod Poodles, joins us this afternoon. How you doing, man?
Tom, I'm doing great. We had a little bit of a rain out the other day, and we're just doing a doubleheader today. So thanks for having me and looking forward to it.
Well, first of all, when I talked to you last time, you were still in Arizona, but you are officially at Hodgetown right now, right? How are the new digs?
Oh, my goodness, man. This place is awesome. I'm trying to take it all in, trying to get the initial shock of how nice this place is. But, it feels like a big league stadium with 3 less decks, but we're just really excited to get the season go on this Tuesday. And then in a couple of weeks, let's get back home and play in front of the Sod Poodle Nation.
Yeah, May 4th against Tulsa. That is the season opener on the road, a couple weeks on the road. And then May 18th against Midland. A lot of the games 7:05, the Sunday games 6:05. Got a few afternoon ones sprinkled in there. I will say I wish we had a few more afternoon games. Afternoon baseball is just such a great thing. But maybe years going forward we can get some more afternoon baseball. But either way, under the lights, Hodgetown is just a beautiful place. But one thing that we didn't have on Thursday, Shawn, that we have now are rosters. We know who's going to be on this team now. Are these players now officially on the way to Amarillo since they just found out? How was that set up before they unveiled the roster today?
Yes, I think guys were starting to kind of be told throughout the week. There was a tentative roster out there early in the week, so guys could start planning their trip, their travel. But after our morning workout yesterday, we got done about 11:30. We had about a 4-inning scrimmage. Guys were able to take off. So I think a lot of guys waited till this morning to drive. I think a couple of guys already touched down on their flights. I think there's 5 of them that touched down around about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And if there wasn't a concert, this locker room would probably be full right now. But we had a concert here tonight. Tell the boys to stay away, and we'll get after it tomorrow.
So tomorrow you're going to do a little practice at the field, or when are you hitting the road for Tulsa?
Yeah, so we'll practice tomorrow, which is Sunday. We'll practice Sunday and Monday. We'll have a couple live BPs so our pitchers can pitch. We'll do some batting practice. And then on Monday night, we're going to have a night practice, finally get underneath the lights. Spring training, we had all our games during the day. So we're excited to see what it looks like Amarillo at nighttime. Do a couple pop-up priorities so the guys can see what it's like under the twilight. And then Tuesday morning, we'll hop on the bus and head up to Tulsa.
So the Diamondbacks, as we've heard a few times, one of the top organizations, prospect-wise, farm system-wise in Major League Baseball. I think MLB has them at number 6 before the season starts. So obviously a lot of talent that you guys have in the organization right now. We're going to highlight a few of these players that we learned were going to be Sod Poodles, but just real quick, 1 through 25, tell us about the kind of team you got and what kind of baseball we can expect to see out of you guys.
Yeah, so first things first, we actually can have 28 guys now.
Oh, okay, 28.
Yeah, right. So sorry to correct you, but we can have 28. I think we have 26 to 27. Waiting for a player or two to come. But man, this is a very athletic group. Some guys that can really play baseball. You talked about the farm system being ranked 6th by Baseball America and whatnot. And we have some very high rated prospects that are here, but we have a lot of prospects that might not be rated on here that are really, really good baseball players. That I think we have a lot of future MLB talent on this team. So, it's on the pitching side of it. We guys that can really pitch. They're going to attack the zone. They're going to go after guys. And offensively, we can do a little bit of everything. We can play the small ball game. We can get on base. We can drive the ball in the gap and hopefully hit some home runs as well. So we're going to find a lot of ways to do different things to beat you. And then on top of it, we can really play defense. This is one of the best defensive team talent-wise that I've seen in a long time. So I think it's going to be every night you come to a Sod Poodle game, you're going to see all kinds of different ways to beat the other team.
Well, the anchor of a really great team and also a really great defense is shortstop. You want to have a stud at shortstop, and it looks like we got one here at the Sod Poodles, the number 3 prospect in your system, Geraldo Perdomo. Actually has a few at-bats, I believe, this year with the Diamondbacks. So he's seen some of that big league pitching. The thing that's impressed me most, just taking a look at his stats on Baseball Reference, is a kid so young seems to have such a good understanding of the strike zone and approach at the plate. He has more walks than strikeouts, which you just don't see that in today's game. Tell us a little bit about Perdomo and what kind of player you expect him to be going forward.
I mean, you nailed it. I mean, first off, the kid's 6'3". He's got more physical over the last year and a half. Obviously, he was in the alt site last year. Didn't make the major leagues, but he got the major leagues this year for about 10 days. But hold on a second here.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all
Sorry.
right.
Technical difficulty. But no.
There you go.
No, a little rain out. Lights went out for a second. But no. He's a tremendous kid. For being 20, 21 years old. Very mature for his age. He's very exciting. He can really pick it in the infield. Really good defender. But like you said, his plate zone or his strike zone awareness is off the charts. He walks more than he strikes out, which is very unusual for young kids that age to do that. So, and then on top of that, not only does he has good plate zone coverage, he hits the ball very well. He can drive the ball in the gaps with his physicality that he's added, the weight that he's added on. We're hoping that maybe some of those doubles and triples that he's been hitting that been going on the ballpark. But he's a guy that when you come to the ballpark, he's always got a smile on his face. He's the one. He's the captain on the infield. He's positioning the defense. He loves the shifts. He loves to do those different things, and he's always going to do something every single night to help the team win. And usually he makes a play that it almost just makes you go, wow. That's all you can really say at the end of the night is wow. And he's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I think we here in Amarillo are going to have a lot of fun watching him. Also, another guy ranked pretty high within the organization, Alek Thomas, an outfielder, the number 4 guy. Good on base guy, looks like. The strikeouts might be a little high right now, but at least he finds ways to get on base outside of hitting the ball. Tell us about him a little bit.
Alek can play, man. He is a lot of fun. You'll see him play a lot in center field. You'll see him flank the corner outfields as well. But another left-handed hitter with juice in the bat. He can flat go get in center field. He's really good out there. But when you get to the plate, he can hit the ball over the ballpark from left field line to right field line, and he can hit out of the ballpark all parts of the field. So he's doing a good job. His strike zone awareness is getting better as he gets older, and that's always all the kids are trying to do that. And all the players are trying to get better at that as they age. But man, when it gets in the zone, he's going to hit it, and you look for a guy getting a lot of doubles and a lot of triples.
Before we get to the pitching side, there's one guy I want to highlight on pitching. But just, you mentioned, the way these guys hit, and you and I were talking about it a little bit off air. Just this ballpark, it's only been around for 1 year, but we learned very quickly that it is an incredibly hitter-friendly ballpark. Like, home runs are flying out of here at crazy rates compared to other stadiums. Do these guys know what kind of stadium they're on the verge of coming into? And how do you, as a coach or as a manager, I should say, try to keep them from not letting that swing fly open too much and think home run when it could be done easier here than any other place?
Yeah, I think they've heard a little bit, but they don't really probably truly understand how the ball travels here. So I think they're going to really enjoy that, especially we take batting practice tomorrow night and our opener in a couple of weeks. But the biggest thing is a lot of conversations, a lot of talks, and just tell these guys, like, yeah, it might go out in Amarillo, but if you're playing in another ballpark or you're playing in the big leagues, it might not go to that ballpark. It might go out at Coors Field. It might go out in Boston, and who knows what field you're playing on. But you have to stick to your approach. Be good at your approach. Stay with that. And then if the ball goes out of the ballpark, awesome. But don't go searching for those homers, because you can really put yourself in a slump and create some bad habits that you don't want to get into.
So, yeah, I think the offense is going to be a lot of fun here. We saw that. We saw double-digit games with both teams, 12, 11, things like that. But you do get some good pitchers' duels from time to time, depending on how that wind is blowing. And one pitcher I want to highlight, Tommy Henry, number 12 in the organization. And the thing that I found interesting about this lefty is he doesn't have a lot of minor league experience. Like he pitched, 3 years at Michigan, and a little bit in a very low level, but then all of a sudden he's making this jump. He's skipping A, skipping high A, and coming straight to double A. Tell us a little bit about Tommy Henry and why you think his skill set allows him to make that jump to double A right off the bat out of college.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy's mature beyond his age. The conversations we've had with him, you can really get in depth with what he's trying to do on the mound, how he's trying to set up hitters and things like that. But he got a mid-90s fastball. He throws both sides of the plate. He throw it up. He can man it down. And then he's got plus off-speed pitches at times. He show you that too. So he has the ability to throw strikes with 3 pitches, and at times they show to be average big league pitches to plus at times. So I think he has a very good feel. He has a really good ability to slow his heart rate down and not let the moment get too big for him. But, I know you don't want to compare college to professional baseball, but some of these college programs, especially Michigan, playing in the College World Series, and he pitched in the College World Series, you're talking about a high A lineup at times when you're facing those teams. Now, the depth might not be there like some of these minor league teams, but he did pitch at the All-Site last year, so he pitched against ex-big league players, AAA players, and very good players. So he has that kind of experience, and I really think that the thing about him is he's not going to let the moment get too big here. As beautiful as Hodgetown is, it's probably not going to compare to walking onto the College World Series field and in front of 40,000 fans. It might just be just as loud here in Amarillo, but to have that experience, not many kids at 22, 23 years old can say they've done that.
You were talking about that fastball being in the mid 90s. I was doing a little bit of reading on this guy, Tommy Henry. And in college, he was throwing low 90s with that fastball. So when the Diamondbacks organization, brought him on board, he was throwing low 90s. Like, did they know that he was going to build into a mid 90s, or is that something that you guys and your training staff have worked with to get him to throw that higher velocity?
I mean, I think it's a combination of both. And I'm not going to say he's going to sit there and sit in midnight or 95, 96. He'll touch it, occasionally on the omnis out there. Probably pitches more at 92, 93. But, our scouting department does such a great job. They do a great job of predicting what kids are going to do, what they get into our system and with our coaching staff and our strength staff and things like that. And they have an idea of, if we do a little bit of tweak here, a little bit of tweak there, maybe he'll build up some velocity. But, like I said, our strength staff, our medical team, our pitching coaches, they do an awesome job. That they collaborate very well. They're synchronized and they get the best out of our players. And, and sometimes, I don't know what the scouting department decided. They saw and said, hey, this guy might get up to the mid 90s, but, he's going to be a guy that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. He attacks. And when you attack, I don't care what your fastball is. If you attack and you command the fastball in the zone, you have a chance to get outs.
We're chatting with Shawn Roof, manager of the Amarillo Poodles. Season starts on Tuesday, just a few days away. We talked about Perdomo, we talked about Thomas and Henry. Just 3 of the 28 guys, and I don't want you to play favorites. That's not your position there, but who else should we maybe keep an eye on? Someone who's maybe a little under the radar that you think is going to break out and become a good major league level talent?
I mean, you said we only have 40 minutes, man.
Yeah.
Can't keep going. I mean, it's not fair. But no, we have a couple guys. Jose Herrera is going to come up and catch for us. Guy can really catch and throw. He's a plus defender. And he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think 23 years old. He can really lead a ball club, just like our other guys with Don Moroglio and Jarrett Reinflesh, and even Camden Duzenak is now catching. But Jake McCarthy. Jake McCarthy was a first rounder for us, I think, in 2018, was it? Played in 19, had a couple injuries, but he took advantage of his time off in last year of the quarantine. He put on about 15, 20 pounds. He retooled his swing a little bit. He's driving the baseball and he can flat out fly. This guy gets on base. He likes to run. And he can really defend in the outfield. So he's going to be a lot of fun to watch as Jose Herrera. Our whole, like I said, you can go up and down our offensive side, and on defense. And then on the mound, we have Humberto Mejia coming in here. Humberto, pitched for the Marlins in the big leagues last year. So he's got a plus changeup and in a average to plus fastball as well. So he's gonna be another guy that I'm looking forward to seeing. He's been in the alt site, so I haven't got a chance to really see him too much. But I could go on and on, but for the sake of time and not playing favorites, I think there's gonna be a lot of guys here that when fans come here, they're gonna go to the gift shop and get a jersey with their name on it.
Well, Shawn, you and I have talked before, and obviously a big baseball family. You've been in the game pretty much since birth. I mean, so you've seen it back in the day. Your family's played it. Now you're in it. You've kind of seen the way the game has progressed, and it sounds like some of the main guys in the organization are more. They aren't the true outcome guys as much. Like they'll maybe walk, but they don't seem to be as big on the strikeouts or as big on the home runs. And I'm going to share something here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but the people watching are going to be able to. I was doing some research on true outcomes, walks, strikeouts, and homers. And it seems like those are happening more and more and more in the game of baseball. And we're talking about how are they ruining baseball? We don't see singles or balls in the alley anymore. We just see the strikeouts, everyone swinging for the fences. Right now through Wednesday, 1 in every 2.7 plate appearances results in a true outcome. We're seeing the strikeouts through the roof. Teams' batting averages collectively, Major League as of Wednesday was 232, which seems crazy low. 10 years ago, it was 255. So it's a full 20 points below. What are your thoughts with where the game of baseball is at right now? And if you are looking to do something different about it, is that something the Diamondbacks are as well, trying to be more, maybe don't swing as hard, make more contact, don't throw as hard, be more accurate? Is that something you guys are looking to try to improve with these new crop of talent?
I think the biggest thing is we're trying to make our players be the best version of themselves. Okay, so if it's throwing harder, then it's throwing harder. Obviously, we want them to throw. If they are throwing harder, we want to throw them in the zone. If we're swinging harder, we're trying to drive the ball in the gap. We're trying to swing at our pitch with the ability to drive that ball in the gap. We don't want to swing at a lot of things that we're not going to have the ability to hit a double or hit a base hit. But the one thing is it's tough is, I think if you look back what the athletes that we have playing baseball now compared to 15, 20 years ago, our defenders are much better than what they were then. There were some really good defenders there, but now as a collective unit, our guys are better defensively. We're putting our defense in spots through the analytics. We're shifting more. We're doing those kind of things. So that takes a account into some of that. And two, now, like our pitchers are really, really good with the use of analytics and technology. They've had the ability to learn to pitch tunnel, make a lot of their pitches come all the way out or look the same all the way halfway to home plate. So your decision-making process has to happen later, but it's hard to do. So guys are throwing harder. Guys, off-speed stuffs are better. They're taking that metric and making themselves better. So there's a whole bunch of things. As far as the Diamondbacks go, we're trying to do whatever the pitching gives us. We're trying to counteract that on the offensive side. The same thing on the pitching side. We're trying to counteract what the offense is trying to do. So we're gonna try to do whatever we can to get the advantage that night. Yeah, I know some of these minor league rules you talked about. I know on the other day, they're trying to do some things to make the offense or make the game be less strikeout and home run, walk oriented. They're trying to do some different things, so there's different outcomes. But it'll be interesting to see how these new rules play this year.
Are you one of those guys where if you have a lefty up where they constantly do a big shift on that, you want to see that guy drop a bunt down the third base line, or is this the place in AA where you don't do that? You're working on other things. So maybe instead of trying to hit the ball where they ain't, you just work on what you need to work on. Like, how would you approach a shift on like a Jay Bruce is a great example, just retired, got the shift on him a lot, massive pull hitter. Maybe if he dropped a few more bunts down the third base line, that would have helped him out a little bit. Or is that just something that's too difficult for these guys today?
It's hard. It's hard to learn to bunt at the big league level. I mean, I'd imagine, to go up there and try to learn to bunt a 97 mile per hour sinker in on your hands is not easy. Some guys aren't comfortable. I'm not saying they're scared to do it, but some guys just don't have the ability to bunt. And I know we think it's easy, but it's not easy. And then two, there's times where we put a shift on a guy and he's got some power. He has the ability to drive the ball in the gap for a double or a home run. And he lays down the bunt. That's perfect for us. We don't want him to hit a ball in the gap. Now he's on first base and he clogs up the base pass. Now it takes 2 to 3 hits to score him instead of 1 where he can score on a gapper. So it just depends on the situation. 2 outs, you don't really want a guy that with not a lot of speed to bunt. Maybe early in the game, maybe even late in the game, if you need a guy on base, you lay down a bunt and then you can pitch run for him or things like that. But, it's all up to the individual player. You might see us bunt a little bit, you might not, depending on what that guy feels comfortable with. But the biggest thing is we don't want the defense and the pitchers to dictate what we're going to do. We're going to try to do what we do best. And sometimes they want us to do something that we're not as good at. And so we're not going to play into their hands and allow them to have that one up on us.
Going back to these minor league rules, I think what single A is doing the deal where the pitcher has to step off the rubber. I think that's more so because of the lefty move to first base, trying to make that, that borderline balk that happens. Triple A is doing the bigger bases to try to do to have less contact with the runners and the fielders. And you guys here in Double A are doing this kind of a prevent of a shift. And I think you were telling me Thursday, like the first half of the season, it's going to be regular, do what you do. And then the second half is when they're going to implement this, keeping the 2 fielders on each side of second base with both feet on the infield dirt. Are you a fan of these experimental rules, or are you one of those guys that just like quit messing with the game of baseball and let the kids play?
I personally, I like the shift. We do a lot of research on it. Our guys do a great job practicing the different positions, knowing where to be. Our pitchers are, Doug Drabeck and our pitching coaches and our pitchers, they do an excellent job when we are on the shift to try to pitch into that in that manner. So I personally am a big fan of the shift. There's nothing better than you see a guy smoke a ball in the right field, a shallow right field, and it's right at the second baseman. But, as we kind of talked about the other day, if this is something that we can do to help make baseball a better version of itself, then I'm all for it. I don't want to do something just to make it vanilla and boring. And if this is the way to showcase our players, to showcase our athletes and how good of defenders they are. I know Francisco Lindor said, keep me on the shortstop side. With my ability, I can range myself over to the second base side and make great plays. So if that's something we can do to make this game more interesting to fans, bring in a bigger fan base, then I'm all for it. If it's something that doesn't really change the game a whole lot, then let's just keep what it is. And let's just try to circumvent what the defense is doing and try to take advantage of it on the offensive side.
One thing that I think is going to happen at some point, and you can answer this if you want to, completely up to you, but I think the game is going to go to an automated strike zone. I'm not a fan of that idea. I love the human element of the umpire. I love the fact that, hey, this guy's kind of giving you a bit more of the outside corner. I think that's strategy. Now I can use that better to my advantage as a pitcher or as a batter, know that I have to look at that. But maybe the inside he's not giving it as much. But I think we're going to an automated zone. It seems like we're highlighting more of the bad calls that umpires are making. And we know it's a very tough job. Are you a fan of a move like that, or would you rather keep the human element there when it comes to umpiring a game with balls and strikes?
I personally like the human element. I like having the umpire back there running the game, calling balls and strikes, and his zone is his zone. And they work so hard back there, just like our players. Our players make errors. Our players walk guys. We give up runs. They're gonna make mistakes back there, but they work their tails off. And I personally would like to keep it. I don't want it to become into almost like a robotic game. I'd like to have an umpire back there, like him, to call balls and strikes. And then you as a hitter or as a pitcher, you have to adjust to what he's calling. And that's the game. That's part of it. And then it's going to take away a little bit of the bantering from the dugout to the umpire and things like that. We have that a little bit with instant replay. It takes away some of the manager and umpire interactions, the player interactions. But what I saw in the Arizona Fall League and things when they did that, you'll see some pitches that technically cross home plate, some curveballs and some changeups. but they hit the dirt. They are unable. There's no chance of swinging and hitting that ball. Let's just say, and so those umpires don't call those strikes. And I think the visual of the game, the aesthetics of the game might change a little bit when you start seeing some of those pitches called, when you got that little box up there and it's got to cross that box and it's got to touch it for it to be a strike. So I hope we never get to it. But again, I'm not making those rules, and whatever rules they give us, we'll make the best of it, and we'll go at it. But, one thing too is, there's an art of pitch framing. The catchers have done a great job. They've learned to frame pitches. Not say to deceive the umpires, but there's ways to make things like make balls like strikes or keep balls in the zone, and that's going to go out the waistline, or that's going to go bye-bye. That's going to be gone. They're just going to have catchers there that are there to slug and slug only, and that ability to help a pitcher get through different situations and call a game and frame. That's going to go to the wayside. So we'll see. I hope it doesn't go well. For the fact is, I'd like to keep it baseball being baseball.
It's funny you mentioned the managerial interaction with an umpire when you're not exactly a fan of what you're seeing on the field. I came across this. I don't know if you can see it, Shawn, but let's see. Back in 2018, when you were with the Hillsborough, you didn't exactly like what Blue was doing behind the plate here. You were up 2-0 in the fourth inning, so things were going well, but man, he must have really been messing things up. You got the hat backwards here. You're all up in his face. At some point, you even show him how big you thought his strike zone was. There it is right there. Just you're pretty much ticking off all the marks with your ejection bingo card there. How many times have you been ejected? Is that something that you enjoy when you do it? What's the reason for picking a time to get into it with an umpire?
To be honest with you, I never enjoy it. That's kind of embarrassing there. You never enjoy it. And what's tough at that field is you have to, our locker room is down the right field line, deep, way behind the fence. So I had to walk across the field. Actually, I had to go up into the stands at the concourse. And kids are like, why aren't you on the field? So at the time you get a little intense, and as you're walking away, you're a little embarrassed. But the biggest thing is you're sticking up for your players. You want your players to know they have your backs. I think the umpires understand it too. I've probably been thrown out a little bit more than I should in my last 3 years of managing. Trying to work on that, but it's just the intensity, and I think the umpires appreciate it too. They know that you're in the game. They're into it too, and it helps. I'm not saying you want to argue with the umpires and go through those situations, but they want to get to the big leagues too. They want to handle situations properly, just as I want to handle things properly. So it's kind of a practice for us as well. But I'm hoping that this year that my ejection numbers go down a little bit.
Well, I know we had a guy named Philip Wellman when we had the Padres here in 2019, who was known for one famous ejection at a night in Chattanooga. So I think people here will be happy to know that you got that little fire in you as well, and you're not going to be afraid to go out there and speak your mind and stick up for the team if you think something is not going your way. But we are just about out of time here. I want to thank you for joining us again, Shawn. Shawn Ruth, manager of the Amarillo LaSalle Poodles. One thing I think we hit on a little bit, but our internet was kind of garbage on Thursday. I wanted to get your thoughts on the layout of the season. The off every Monday, Tuesday through Sunday, playing a 6-game series. Are you a fan of that type of schedule, or do you prefer the traditional one that like Major League Baseball is doing this year?
After 2020, I'll take any season possible. We'll play every single team, or we'll play one team 120 times, if that allows us to play. But, it's going to be interesting. I'm a fan of the day off weekly. I think that's going to be really good for our players, not only their physical health, but their mental health. I think that one off day is going to be great for those guys to recover. And let's just hope in the end that might help slow down some of the injuries that we see in baseball. I know it's going to be hard to prevent everything, but maybe that'll help guys stay healthier longer. But, as far as playing a team 6 times, it doesn't really matter. I know in the Southern League, we talked about that they play 5-game series. So it's only one more game. It could get chippy and testy there if there's a beanball war or something like that, which I hope that doesn't happen this year. We never want to see that happen. But, I've talked to this a bunch of people, but, if you go to the playoffs, you go to the World Series, you have to play a team 7 times. They're going to know you the back of their hand, inside and out. they're going to make adjustments, and you have to make adjustments. And whoever can make the adjustments the fastest and execute the best is going to win that series. So I know it's not that 7th game. I wish we had an odd number so you could actually win a series instead of split series, which you'll see. But it'll start allowing you to see every one of their pitchers at least one time throughout the series, their starters. And it'll prepare you for playoff series. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to develop our guys to be championship caliber Major League Baseball players for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And this is one opportunity to start getting us familiar with that kind of a system of playing multiple games versus other teams. But it'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes. And, like I said, with the rules, we'll see if it's something that needs to be changed. I'm sure they will. But it's going to limit travel, which will be nice. You can set up shop. You can set up your printer. You can set up your hotel room. Now you can check out the different hotels or the different places to eat in the towns and things like that. But yeah, we're just excited to play. It doesn't matter who we play, how long we play them. Let's just play some ball.
And you talked about things getting chippy. Imagine if you just have a bad week. You want to talk about a big change in the standings. So you can have if you go 1-5, that's a 4-game swing in 1 week with one particular team. Talking about setting up shop, all you got right now is a Saw Poodle helmet behind you on the shelf. What are you going to decorate with in there? Do you have any plans yet, or are you still trying to figure all that out?
I don't know. I got a family picture somewhere. It's on the couch over there, so that'll be up there.
Okay.
With family. Got a couple Ruckus bobbleheads over here on the desk that's going to go up there.
Oh, nice.
So,
all right.
We're going to try to ruckus this thing out. Try to get some Sod Poodle gear up there. But good question. If you got any maybe get an Illini hat or something up there. Now, like you to fit in like you with that pillow.
Hey, if you want the pillow, my gift to you.
No, that's all you, brother. That's all you. That might not fit on there, but if you have any ideas what to put up there, let me know. You can
get a line pin it too. There you go.
I like that. That's nice. Gee, that's nice. But it'll be interesting what it looks like today, what it'll look like on September 20th or whenever the season ends. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of different things go up there, and who knows? Hopefully we don't chuck any of these Ruckus bobbleheads after a tough loss.
Well, Shawn Rufa, new manager of the Amarillo Saw Poodles. We are now an Arizona Diamondbacks affiliate. We're going to be that for 10 years. So Amarillo, get ready. This is going to become a Diamondbacks town, and I know I'm very excited about that. Hopefully we can do this again, maybe not Texas League, but AA Central League champions. And I think we got some pretty good talent from the sound of it. And we got a great guy leading the way here with the Shawn Roof. Shawn, thanks very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Safe travels to Tulsa, and we'll talk to you again soon, man.
Tom, man, thanks for having me, man. This was a blast. And, like I said, Sod Poodle Nation, we're here. It's going to be exciting, and can't wait to meet you all in person.